we are going to define another ring, special ring, that is called integral domains. So what does it mean? For example, suppose we take suppose you take M2 cross 2 over R, that is the set of all matrices set of all 2 cross 2 matrices over R, that is entries have been taken from R, real numbers. Now in this ring we consider two matrices. One is A, that is 1 0 0 0, and which is a non-zero matrix, right? Non-zero matrix, and another non-zero matrix is 0 0 0 1. Is a non-zero matrix. Okay. So here you take two non-zero elements of that ring, and now you are going to multiply them. Then what will happen? That is, this is 1 0 0 0 0, this is 0, sorry, 0 and this 0, yeah. So therefore it is a zero matrix. That means if you multiply two non-zero elements in particular, then it will give you the zero matrix, that is the zero of that ring, right? So this means that in general in rings you will going to have two non-zero elements whose product will be 0, but in Z you will witness, but if you take Z plus dot, then you will see that the multiplication of, then for all A comma B belongs to Z minus 0, that is if you take two non-zero integers, then their product is non-zero. So in Z plus dot it is true that product of two non-zero elements must be non-zero, right? But in M2 cross 2R it will not happen, because for these particular examples, that is if you take A like this and B like this, then their product will be 0. Okay. So these elements A or B, these are called divisors of 0 of that ring. Okay. So the definition is that, suppose we take, so let us suppose that R plus dot be a ring, then a non-zero element, small a belongs to R is called a left divisor of 0 if there exists another non-zero element B belongs to R such that their product will be 0. Okay. And in a similar way you can define right divisor of 0, that is A will be right divisor of 0 if there exists a non-zero B such that BA equal to 0. Okay. And now if you consider commutative rings, then left divisor of 0 and right divisor of 0s will coincide, and then you call them divisor of 0. Okay. But in general, if A is both left divisor of 0 and right divisor of 0, that is there exist non-zero elements B C belongs to R such that AB equal to 0 and CA equal to 0, then A will be called divisor of 0. Okay. Okay. So if it is both, then it is called divisor of 0. And in commutative ring in particular, you will find only divisor of 0. You don't have to talk about left divisor of 0, or either it is left divisor of 0 or right divisor of 0. It is clear that in commutative rings you will say that A is a divisor of 0 if there exists a non-zero element B such that AB equal to 0 and BA equal to 0, right, because AB equal to BA. Okay. So these are called divisor of 0. So with respect to this definition, you can say that this A is a left divisor of 0, or you can say that this B is a right divisor of 0. Okay. But in Z plus dot, we have already written that there exists no divisor of 0, because any two non-zero element, if you take their product, it must be so in Z plus dot there exists no divisor of 0. So such rings where you cannot find divisor of 0 are called integral domains. Okay. So the definition of a ring with unity having no divisor of 0 is called an integral domain. Okay. So a ring with unity having no divisor of 0 is called an integral domain. For example, Z plus dot is a model of integral domains. Okay. And also let us prove that theorem that let R be a skew field. The skew field is a ring with unity where every non-zero element has a multiplicative inverse. So let R be a skew field, then R is an integral domain. Okay. Why? Because the proof is that, so let us suppose that, so you need to show that there exists no divisor of 0. So let A not equal to 0 be an element. Okay. So to check that whether there exists no divisor of 0, let us suppose that on the contrary, that AB equal to 0 for some B belongs to R. Okay. AB equal to 0 for some B belongs to R. We are going to show that this B is none other than the 0 element. That is, this B must have to be 0. So this is our claim. So our claim is that this B must be 0, because if this B will be non-zero, then you will going to have an 0 divisor, right? Okay. So our claim is that B is 0. So since A not equal to 0 and R be a skew field, so A inverse exists. That is, now A inverse exists, multiplicity inverse, and with respect to this inverse, you will going to have, so from AB equal to 0, if you multiply both sides with A inverse, then you will get, this is A inverse dot 0, so it is 0. So therefore it is A inverse A B, and therefore it is identity B, so therefore it is B equal to 0. So our claim has been proved. So therefore, in a similar way you can show that. So in a similar way, if for some C belongs to R, CA equal to 0, then C is going to be 0. Okay. So therefore A, so therefore there exists no divisor of 0 in R. Right, which says that, which proves that R must be an integral domain, right? So a skew field is an integral domain. Okay, and you already have proved that every field is in particular a skew field, right? So therefore your note should be like that, that every field must be an integral domain, right? So there are a lot of examples of integral domains you are going to have. Integral domain, right? So there are, so R plus dot, Q plus dot, C plus dot, these are all integral domains, right? And also you have already proved that H plus dot, that is a ring of quaternions, it is also a skew field, so therefore an integral domain, right? And without being commutative, right? So this is an example of an integral domain without having commutativity, right? These are all commutative rings, but this is a non-commutative ring which is an integral domain. Okay. Okay, fine. Now, every field is an integral domain, it is true, but z plus dot is an integral domain which is not a field, right? Or you can say that not a skew field, right? Because the non-zero elements do not possess any multiplicative inverse. So, therefore, z plus dot is an integral domain which is not a skew field. Okay. But next we show that, but our claim is that this is the theorem, that is, if you take finite integral domains, that is every finite integral domains must be a skew field. Right? And if you add commutativity to this, to their property, then every finite integral domain will be a field. Okay. Every commutative finite integral domain will be a field actually. Okay. So, what is the proof? So, what is to be shown here? That is, if you have a finite integral domain, suppose it is R, a finite integral domain, right? That is, it must have the unity, because we have already considered, whenever we have defined integral domains, we have considered a ring with unity, right? So, this ring, so R being a integral domain, so it must have the unity. Okay. So, suppose 1 is the unity of R. Okay. So, to show that it will be a skew field, you need to check whether every non-zero element has multiplicative inverse. Okay. So, suppose you take a non-zero element A. Okay. So, our claim is that, what is our claim? That A must have a multiplicative inverse. That means there exists B belongs to R such that AB must be 1, okay, and BA must be 1. Okay. So, how to get this claim? So, to prove this one, let us define a map. And we will denote this map by phi suffix A, because we are considering the element A. So, phi suffix A will be a map from the ring to itself by the definition. What is the definition of phi A? Phi A at small x will give you A x, that is if you multiply every element of R by A from left, okay, then this is a map from the ring R to itself, and our claim is to show that phi A will be a bijective map. Now, if you look at this ring, it is actually a finite set. Okay. So, if you consider a finite set and you have defined a map from this finite set to itself, then to show that this map is a bijection, it is enough to check that whether it is 1 1, because from a map from a finite set to another finite set will be bijective if and only if it is 1 1, right. So, therefore, it is enough to check that phi A is, so it is check that phi A is 1 1, right. So, that is, so this, so for this one let us suppose that phi A of x equal to phi A of y for any two x and y belongs to the ring R, and this will give you Ax equal to Ay, right, and this implies A x minus y is going to be 0. So, therefore, this product is 0 whether this A is non-zero, and you are living in a space where the R is integral domain, that is, there exists no divisor of 0 in R. So, therefore, being non-zero, you are going to have this must be 0. So, therefore, x equal to y, that is phi A has to be 1 1. So, must be 1 1, and hence it is onto. Okay. So, therefore, phi A is a bijection, right, and since phi A is a bijection from R to itself and R contains the unity, right. So, phi A is a map from R to itself, and this is a bijection that has been proved. So, being a bijective map, you can take 1 here because unity exists in R. So, for this one you are going to have 1 B, right, which corresponds this one through phi A. That means phi A of B has to be 1, that is AB equals to 1, right. So, from this one you can say that A is left invertible, right. In a similar way, if you consider in a similar fashion, if you consider a map psi A from R to itself defined by psi A of x equal to x A for all x, then psi A will again be a bijection. Just using the above arguments, you can show that psi A is a bijection from R to itself, and therefore, for 1 there exists a C such that CA equal to 1. So, that means C is A is right invertible, right invertible. So, lastly we need to show that this A and this B and C, these are equal. right, which proves that A will going to be invertible, that is A has multiplicative inverse. So therefore, if you take B, then yeah, so B can be written as 1 dot B, right? Now if you replace this 1 with CA, then you will have CA dot B. Now using associativity, so it is CAB. Now apply this one, so you will have C dot 1, so therefore C. So B and C are same, so that means AB equal to 1 equal to BA, and this implies A has a multiplicative inverse. Okay, and this proves that R must be a skew field. So therefore, every finite integral domain must be a skew field. But in case of infinite integral domains, you are not going to have this result because of this example, particularly z plus dot, right? Okay. Fine. So every finite commutative integral domain, so remark, in addition to above, if R is commutative, then R must be a field. Okay, R must be a field. Okay.